Okay. I'd like just to pick up the Shiur from last week, but I think we should start the mitzvah again, and I'll do it fast, and just to get to the points. HaMitzvah Hashesh B'Shishim, number 65, Lo Yisaseh, Ish Yishinu Me'azoiv HaTolui, to leave the Tolui Lolun Al Eitzoi. It's on the tree. The tree, the wooden device that it was hanging on, whatever it was. And now it says, Kidei shelo yischadish mizeh pirsum birkas Hashem bizbonos keshenira. There's a tam, Kidei, the tam HaMitzvah. And the tam HaMitzvah is based on the Mishnah. The Mishnah learns pshat in the pasuk. The Mishnah in Sanhedrin, Perek Vav, Mishnah Dal, Kikilas Elokim, Tolui, V'goyme, Koyme, V'nei Mazeh, Tolui, V'nei Shebe'echas Hashem, V'nim Shem Shemayim Mischal. They talk about Birkas Hashem, the Shem Shemayim Mischal. B'spoinus Kisheniro. When they'll see him on the 8th, things will, they'll start thinking and talking, whatever. Sha'anachnu, or lefi sha'anachnu, it's an explanation. Lo nitle zulas megadev, we only toile a megadev, and the oived avodah zarah. Those are the only two that are nitle, and not only megadis has within Birkas Hashem, but oived avodah zarah has in Birkas Hashem. How do we know this? Shebo boigam kain es Hashem hu megadev. Because in the parsha, which talks about avodah zarah, it says Hashem hu megadev. So there's Birkas Hashem kipshutai, and there's Birkas Hashem, which is avodah zarah itself, is Birkas Hashem. Now, this pshat that the Ram says is he doesn't not only says it over here, but he says it in Hilchos Sanhedrin in Perek Tezvav Alocha Vav. Shenema kilu zolikim tolui hari megadif omo ulover avodah zarah nema as Hashem hu megadif. Get as what is Hashem hu megadif? Exactly what he said here, and it appears Mishnayis, and it's Sanhedrin Perek Vav Mishnah Hey. V'chein over avodah zarah nikol megadif shenema v'nefesh asher ta'aseh biyod romo as Hashem hu megadif. Ubo pirushay b'sifri shekol oisa pasha b'avodah zarah nem. So this is mamish gevaldik. So it's the hisboinus of the giduf, and there's giduf both in megadif and over avodah zarah. However, the Ram is not mesiachis to the Mishnah, and the Mishnah says a whole different pshat. The Mishnah Hedrin call niskol nitlin. Divrei Rabbi Eliezer, Chomim Oimrim, Chomim Oimrim, Eino Nitle Al Megadif Loiver Avodah Zarah. V'chulei, Ma Mekalel Ze Beskila, Avkol Beskila. That's what Divrei Rabbi Eliezer. So all Chayvei Skila on this go. Chomim Oimrim, Ma Mekalel Ze Shekofa Beika, Avkol Shekofa Beika. So L'chei L'ribui from Oiver Avodah Zarah is a ribu from kifir beika, not because he is a megadif. So I'm not sure the Ram wants pshuta shel mikra, or that the whole thing makes sense if pshuta Ram is going pshuta shel mikra, but that's not a reason maybe for here to do it. But in the Pirush HaMishnah, there's no reason to go pshuta shel mikra. And Mishnah, Okay. Next. V'azhora milav zeh hu amra yis'alev leisolin nivlosei al ha'etz. So we pointed out last week, and now just that the normal construction, it says leisolin ki kovotik berenu. So the normal construction of a low key is you shouldn't do this, but you should do this. And it really is like, and it's basically the same thing. There's an assay and a lois assay. I mean, he starts with a lav and assay. They're the inverse of each other, and it's both of them. So the question is, and the Ram doesn't learn like that because Kovotik Berenu, the Maisa, according to the Rambam, if you recall from the Mitzvah say, is an Ohri Bezdin. And here the Lav is only by Megadev and Avodah. So it's not that construct. It happens to be low key, but the low key are not necessarily related. Because if you're going to take the approach that they are related, intertwined, you have to say that the mitzvah kvura is only by is only by nitlin, and the Ram is not like that. The Ram Pask is the kol ogi bezdin. There's a mitzvah kvura, so that we pointed out. That the pasuk goes like this, because in the parsha starts like this: ish chet mishpat moves v'humos v'salisois ha'etz. But on this pasuk v'chiyeh b'ish chet mishpat moves, the Chazal learn out in both in Yevomis, Vavam with Beis, it's a Hejin Lamaneh with Beis. It's going that the stam of the Kro is V'chiyesh Mishar Movis Oisar Eitz is on all Mises best. So it's a very strange thing. The Parsha is a Tata Desasre. Or there are two themes in the Parsha. There's one theme in the Parsha of Arba Mises Bezin, and there's one theme of the Parsha of Nitlin. So I guess you have to read the Pesukim like this. And however, if he happens to be one of those that are nitlin, and if it's oisisolates, leisolin nivlasai al hoetz. So I guess it's a maimah muska from Vasilisai Sala H to Leisolin es Nivlos Sala H. But you read the pasuk, B'chiyeh b'ish chet mishpat moves, v'humos, ki kovo tikvarenu bayom ahu. And kikilas elokim tolui is another, I have to listen, Tameas at Moscow, we have to know what that goes on. We don't know how the Ram learns that. So, it's an amazing thing on two things going on in Pshuto Shomikra. That there's the way the Chazal learn in Yevomis and in Sanhedrin that it's referring to Dalam Mises Bezin. On the other hand, the peculiar dinim, when we pass the Chachamim, not like Abelazar, the peculiar dinim in of Nitlim, but not all Chayvei Silan. But you see, even if you're going to learn that it's all Chayvei Skila on Nitlin, it's not clear that Rabbi Loza is going to say that the mitzvah's kvura is only by nitlin of all niskolim. So that's the issue you're going to have to deal with. And my suggestion, certainly the Ram learns like that the mitzvah's kvura is on all Mises Bezdin, and the lavali solin is on only nitlin. So then you can evaluate, once you say they're two separate things, it could be that the Zman of Kikobotik Boreno is a different Zman than Loisolin. And it could be Loisolin is Araboika Kechola Terakula, and the mitzvah and the mitzvah kvura is by Yom Hahu. And the emphasis is Machokas Rishonim. The Re'em learns in Shin Pei Dalid that the lav Yoiver Ba'amal HaShachar K'chol HaTorah, and that's what Lina is by Schar Socher, and Lina by Ylon Chelet Chagi HaBoker, and it's all the same dinim. And I would assume because they're two separate issues. There's a mitzvah kavura, and one is not related with the other. However, the Piskei Rid we pointed out last week in the Mishnah Sanhedrin, in Memvav and Aleph, Oisvav says that the over the lav also miyad, and if you're not, you take him off immediately, you violate Lisolim. And maybe he learns that there is a relationship between the two. And this we're going to have to ask ourselves, and this will be even more interesting as we go on. What is the Isalina? Is the Isalina ala etz, or it's an Isalina without kavura? So if it's an Isalina ala etz, the mitzvahs kavura and lina have nothing to do with each other. And I would assume that's the way you should go with the Re'em, or wherever it is in the Ram, that's the way we're looking also. But maybe the Tosfos Rid learns that the Isalina is lina without kavura, and the two things will go hand in hand. So once lina without kavura, so the same way kavura is a shkia, lina is also shkia. So then, according to Tosfos Rid, it reads, Loisol niblos ala eitz. Why? You can't leave it on the eights? Because ki covers sikbarena by Yom Hahu. So it's a reason, it makes sense. And the lina is that there should be kvura, because there has to be kvura. Okay. So that's the issue. Is it halona ala etz, or is it halona without kvura? So now the next step. We went over, we assumed in Rambam, that the mitzvahs kvura is b'chol ha'ugi bezdin, and the lav of lina is by nitlin. The problem is, in the chayra, there's no relationship between the two. It's just two things happen to be in the parsha, and there's no relationship between lina and kvura. The problem is, and this is what was in the middle of last week, continue, we got a little further, but now I'm just trying to make it clearer. The Gemara Sanhedrin has a very strange sugya. Memvav Amud Beis, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Mishum B'Shimon Ben Yochai, Minayin L'Meilin Es Meisai, She'oiva Allah B'Loisas. So 1 second. Minayin She'Meilin Es Meisai, he's not Meilin Al Etz, you understand that? He's Meilin without Kvur. There's no other pshat in the Gemara. See, only by Nitl you could talk Meilin Al Etz. Okay. Talmud Loima ki cover tik borenu. Mikan lemevin lemelin es meisoi shoiva b'loy sase. So it's boro, as we said, that melin es meiso is kvua. Okay. So then it's just l'chera. It state in the Gemara that kvura and the lav leisolin are tluim b'vizeh. Exactly what we saw in the Tosfos Rid. But even more so, it's not only an Arugi Bezdin, it's an all Mason. There's a lovely soul, and the Gemara doesn't say it, but L'chayra is mitzvah. But look at the Gemara. You see, the Gemara does say it. Listen again. Minayin lemeilin meso shoibe b'loy saase. Tamalom ikova sikparenu. Ikova sikparenu is bo v'limud al what's the pshat in leisolin. Mikan lemeilin mesoi shoibe b'loy saase. So the Gemara learns from the key that, even though in Pshuta Shal Mikra, there are two different things going on, but the Gemara learns from the key that they're intertwined. There's very strange things. In Pshuta Shal Mikra, they're separate, and comes of Shimi Ochoy, are hot and intertwined at the key. And Melin is Mesa, so that's who we said that the Ika Mitzvah Skvur is only B'chol Hogi Bezdin, and but on all Hogi Bezdin, and the Mitzvah of Tliya, the Azhor of Tliya, is only on Nitlin, and in Pshuta Shomiko, the Ika Mitzvah, the Ika Lav, and the Ika Asay, they're not Shum Zebezeh B'chol. But there is a Lav Tofel, Alonis Hames Mikvura, and the Mitzvah Say Tfela of Kovo Tikbarenu of Shalmesim, not the Ika Mitzvah. And the Rambam has Kubura of Shal Mason, Reish Lamah, talks about Mace Mitzvah. He learns Mace Mitzvah, Mitzvah Kubura, not like there's a Mishnah Torah. Ukuvuras Kroivim, in Mishnah Torah, he learns as a Mefurish Rambam, we'll see that there's a Mitzvah Kubura by Shal Mason. And a Mitzvah Say Tvela. And the Mitzvah Say Tvela and the Lav Tvela, Kshurim and Ki. And they're both in Shal Mason. And the Rambam also brings the Ashoras Halona, which in Pshuta Shel Mikra is Halona ala Etz, as a Rai Dochabak Kfura. The Rambam in Sanhedrin, Perik Tezlov, Aloch Ches, Umitzah Say Likva Kol Gibezin, Biyom Hariga, Shnema, Kiyotek Morena Biyom Hu, Log Gibezin Bilvad, Elo Kol Hamelin Es Meisoi, Oive, Olov Beloy Sase, or Beloy Sase. Hey, Lilo Lechvoidai, Love Elon Achish, and Ein Oive. So it means the Ram's Befuish, the Lav of Halona applies to all Mason, and it's Halona from Kvua. And Uchas Ovel, he's Mefurish, also in Perek Dal Aloches, V'chol Hamelin Es Meso, Ivo Beloy Sase. Elim Kain, Helin Lechvoido, Ulahashlim, Tzrocho. So this is Rab Shimon Yochai, Yocham Shimon Yochai. And the Rama May also brings the mitzvah Kvura, Legabe Shak Chayv Minuchas Ovel. In Perek Yud Beis Halacha Aleph, Avo in Tziva, Shelo Yikover, Ein Shoymen Loy, Shakvura Mitzvah, Shenema Ki Kovo Sikvarenu. So, this Michal Shuim, Moiv Rabbi, or Michal Feinstein, is Shuim at Sanhedrin Memvov. He's made Lashon Ram because the Ram talks about Tliya twice. In Perek Tezvov, Alocha Zayin in Ches, Ketzad Mitzvah Hanitlin, B'Toleu, Somoch L'Shkia, Tzachamo, U'Mativno Yisumiyad, V'Imlon, Oivlin, Olov, B'Lei Sas, Shnem B'Lei Solin, Es Nivos Al Eitz. So there's a Lei Sas, Mitzvah Say Likbo. Es Kol HaUgi Bezdin, B'Yom HaUgi Shnem, Mikol V'Tikol B'Yom HaU. Then he says, "V'lo gibezin b'vad el kol hameilin es meiso el b'lasas." He starts. He said before. He says it again. So why does he quote that so twice? Michal asks. Once, so he quotes it. So Michal says that again, that the Ikalav is by Nitlin, but there is a ribui that applies to Kol Mason. And what did I say? So I thought you can add, again, as we said, that even though in the fee, the Ika Mitzvah, there's no kesher between the Lab and the Asay, and the Asora is ala etz, and we take off the etz, there's no more Asora, but there's a mitzvah, there's no Lab. But the Rambam and the Hemshech is mashma that the Lab and the Asay are tuin zeh bezeh, and that is the Lav Tofel. And there's a riboy of Kovo Tikbarenu to Marbe Shal Mesim, not only Haugi Bezdin, and since it's only a riboy, it's not the Ika Mitzvah. The Ika Mitzvah is on Haugi Bezdin. But there's a riboy Shal Mesim. The Shagasai in Chadoshes learns differently. You'll see involved. You'll decide. You'll see. I'm never saying it the way I want to say it. See, and the so I think then what the Gemara does. Let's go back and read the Gemara again. Om Rabbi Yechanan mishum b'shum yochoi minayin lemeilin es meisai shoiva olav b'loisase kalmaloima ki tovo tikbarenu. Or that the kovo tikbarenu is marbe that it's a shal meisim. So memela, for some reason, we learned that loyolin also is like that. Mikan, it's from kovo tikbarenu. Mikan lemeilin es meisa shoiva b'loisase. So in the Asay and the Loisa Set Fela, they are intertwined, and on the Ika Mitzvah, they're not intertwined. It's a very strange thing. Because you just said because of the key in the Pshuta Shamikah, they should have been intertwined there also. And you see that the Rambam holds like this, because the Rambam, when he's Mesader, the Prote Mitzvahs, he's always is Mesader, the Ika Mitzvah, the Prote Mitzvahs by the Ika Mitzvah. So for the Mochel, there's a Mitzvah Sunchos Yontiv, there's an Ika Mitzvah of Achilus Basakochim, and there's a Mitzvah Tvela of Noshim Burim Lem and Noshim Burim. The Rambam quotes the Mitzvah of Simchos Yontiv in Hilchos Chagiga, not in Hilchos Yontiv, because in Chagiga it's a Achilus Kochim, and that's the Ika Mitzvah. There is a Mitzvah of Simchos Yontiv, and Mitzvah Tvela of Noshim Burim Lem and Noshim Burim Lem. But that is not the Ika Mitzvah, and that's not the Mokoim in Porte Mitzvah. Porte Mitzvah, Simchos Yontiv, is in Hilchos Chagiga, not in Hilchos Yontiv. Similarly, the Ram quotes the Mitzvahs Tliya and the Mitzvahs Kvura in Hilchos Sanhedrin, because the Ika Mitzvah is the Chalugi Bezlin and by Nitlin. And in Ovel, he quotes the Dinim of the Lav Tofel and the Mitzvah Tvela. But that's not the Mokoim of the Ika Mitzvah. It's the Mokoim Mitzvah Tvela. So therefore, he doesn't quote it in the Protei Mitzvahs there. He does mention in Hilchos Ovel, but it's an aside. And I'll read it to you. He's not because he doesn't want to mention Mitzvah Kvura. Listen, he says in the beginning of Hilchos Avos, he says, "Lis abel akrev v'afilu kayin, mistame misabel akrev, v'ein odem misabel al harugi bezdin, ulefi zeh kol alti hilchos elu b'sefer zeh shehem me'ein kvua b'yoy misa she mitzaseh." Kvua b'yoy misa mitzaseh, but this is not what he's talking about mitzvah kvua. It's just the reason why Hilchos Avil happens to be next to Mammon. Okay, that is the end of this note. I have a side note. There are the steers, and both of them are very odd. The Radvaz doesn't look like this, but I'll tell you what he does say. The Radvaz in Chelik Aleph Chuvas, Chelik Aleph, Siman Shinyur Aleph, the Aseh Kfur is Rak Barugi Bezdin, but the lav is B'chol Mesim. And it's Rak Ba'am Rashach. Ubishlo L'chvayda. So he learns that only the lav applies to Shal Mesim, not the Aseh. I'm not sure how he learns that. Hilchos Avos that I read before. And then in Perek Daled, Hilchos Avos in Alochis, the Radvaz, Aloches, says that the Is Halona is Mavu and Sanhedrin of Memvov, Rab Shimon Yochai is only the Rabbonon. And that's not like the Ram also, that I would assume. I don't know. But I want to tell you one thing. That which we said, or that what the Ram says, there's a hete of Halona, Lichveda, or you can hold the Kfula of Lichveda. That's only in the mitzvah tefillah. Let's say Louis Tzur, that we Lichveda to leave the Toli ala et, or to be kaveh the mess of Mrs. Besdin on a different day. I don't know what kvayda. I'm not sure exactly how it would work. That doesn't exist. But the din of kvayda was only said in the lach, and that's the Ram says at the end of the halachas when he quotes Malin the second time. He says only then he says that there's a he says he says it's only by Shalkravim. Okay, I just want to tell you, it's Gedai, look at the Chubas Chachagisai, Chadoshes. You know, you masik what you want to. I don't know. That's what I would say. I think it's the simplest way. I try to do the psukim, and that is, I think, what I'd say. So the law 8, Veloshet Sifri, Leisolin Nivosai, Zo, Mitzvahs, Leisas. This, we have to understand what the Rambam needs. Is it just because anytime the Sifri we say mitzvah say, he brings the yes says yes oz, or is an issue about whether this law should be in minyan mitzvahs or not? I don't know. Next, so next mitzvah. He a mitzvah sheva v'shishim. Now we're going to a new set of mitzvahs that are kosher to mikdash, and we'll see what happens now. HaMitzvah Sheva v'shishim, hi she'ishirnu mehisatzel b'shmiras hamikdash u'mileches svivoy. So there's a mitzvah say, which we had already, to be shema the mikdash, and there's a law of atzel or beetle or something of shmiras hamikdash, mileches sviv, or whatever that means. And we had the same problem mitzvah say, kappa chabikabo. That's a proper translation. It's impossible. I don't know. I worked a lot over there. You can see what I said, or we can talk about it again. But I'm not sure if we're going to get anything more going over it. The translation of Misatzel b'shmiras hamikdash u'mileches svivoy, he learns in Ibn Iyoi levato shmiras hamikdash v'asibub svivoy, whatever that means, v'asav svivoy, u'melahashbis shmiras hamikdash levakibo. Okay. So, but the important thing that it's called alaylo, and it's only called alaylo, and that's the Ram Shita. There is, I think, others. I think we pointed out then. I think Russian Tomid or whatever that it might be b'yoyim b'layla, but the pashtus is that it's only b'layla. And you look, because the mitzvah shmira is only b'layla, which we discussed in mitzvah chavbez, and I don't think this is the place to go over it now. Okay, now let's continue. V'omo yisalu shmaltim es mishmeres hakodesh. That is the mitzvah say. Ukvar bi'anu u'mitzvahs ashtayim v'yesrim mitzvahs say sheshmiras mikdash v'leches svivoy mitzvahs say. V'chein nevayir heino. So we'll explain over here. Shebito zeh, or hashposas dover zeh, something. Who mitzvahs loisaseh. So there's an asay and a loisaseh, and this is the loisaseh of that asay, and that asay is balaylo. So he basically says the way he defined the asay, the lav is the opposite. And if the asay is balaylo, v'leches svivo, whatever that means, the lav is also the same to mavatal that. Until this point, it's everything simple, nothing, it's a lav and asay, and it basically is shishi. That you have a lav and asay b'dov echad, and they basically one is the negation of the other, like Shmir Shabbos and Asis and Loisa Sekom Alocha, or the Yom Kippur, Tzoyim and eating, or the Shmir Shvister on Yontif and the Lav, whatever it is, or Shviz, Lav, say whatever you want. It's another case of Shirishish. However, the question is, where is the Lav? Where's the lav? So the Rambam quotes a Mechilta, and maybe he means the Sifri Zuta. Listen to the Lashon of the Mechilta. V'shomu es mishmeres oil moye, ein li ela ba'asei. Ein li ela ba'aseh. Lois belois minayin. Talmuloi mushmaltim mis mishmeres hakodesh. See, here is mamish an amazing thing. The ein li ela ba'aseh belois minayin. Talmuloi mushmaltim mis mishmeres hakodesh, and that's a lav. Case a lav. Ukvais boy mishpatei mitzvazo betchilas tamid umidos. Because the assay and the lav are the same thing. So the same way you have a interpretation of the mitzvah say, you have an interpretation of it. So let's see the Sefer Zuta. V'shomu es mishmeres oil moed l'chol avodas oil v'za v'chulei v'za lo yikov alei ein li elo b'lo isase, the opposite, ein li elo b'lo isase b'asei minayin talmuloi mushmatim is mishmeres hakodesh gedoylo lemikdosh sheyesh alav shoymim lo doime gedula lemikdosh sheyesh alav shoymim lo doime paltin she'ein alav shoymim lepaltin sheyesh alav shoymim shenema b'chlinim olav ked surfnei hamishkon kedmo lifnei olamoyed mizlocha moishe Aaron lebonim shoymim b'shmeres hamishkon. So from Smichas Inyan, we are probably talking about Shmiras HaMikdash, Shmiras HaMishkan, and that's the Sifri, and that's the Ram learns. However, the question is we learning where's the Asay and where's the Lav? What is the Lav? What's going on? So let's go. The Sifri Zutas, that's what we were saying. Let's go over it. The Lashon of the Sifri Zuta, the gears of the Sifri Zuta that we have, is just the opposite of what we have in the Ram. Because in there, the Ram learns, in Sifri Zuta learns, V'shamru v'chulei, is a lois aseh. And the aseh is ushmaltim. And the Ram says just the opposite. V'shamru is the aseh, and the lav is ushmaltim. So Rabbi Yochanan Perlo in Esin Aseyud Gimel explains that the Girsa, the way we have it in the Sefer doesn't make any sense, and you have to say like the Rambam. In other words, in terms of the Girsa. And the Chera, we see, according to Sefer Zuta, we understand that the lav, it could be the lav is Zal or Yikra Aleim. So if you learn V'zal or Yikra Aleim is Azhora, because you see, what's Zal or Yikra Aleim? It's Azhora that the Shomrim should make sure that the Zav is lo Yikov Aleim. They are enjoined from doing that. Sholose zal, v'zal lo yikav aleim, they should not allow a zal likav aleim. But you can do the opposite. Zal lo yikav aleim is a shlila. Shebederch shmira, if you do the shmira properly, memela, zal lo yikav aleim. And the emes is, the Gemara learns that the Gemara in Zvochim, Tezvov and Aleph, that the Ashora al avoid the zal is mzalo yikuv aleim. So it's nothing to do with Shmiras HaMikdash. And you would say, look, the Sifri like that in Koirach, in Piskat Kuf Tezayin. The Rambam in Mitzvah is also like that. Loisa say Ayin Dalid, he she his here Azal may avoid the Mikdash with Soini be Omi Zal, Paul me Sheinu Mizera Aaron, Womi Yisal Vizal Yikavale. Mishnah Torah in Bias HaMikdash in Perik Tes Aloch Aleph learns like that. So Vizal Yikavale, the Rambam is not to do with Shmiras HaMikdash. It's a separate lab of Avodas Hazal. So all we have left here, we have to understand how you play it out. You have two lush l'shenas of Shmira, and we don't understand how you have a lav and asay. Why one is a lav, one's an asay, and which one's which? V'shomu es mishmeres oil moyed, ein li ela basay, b'loisa seminayin, tamaloima, u'shmaltim es mishmeres hakodesh. You have this guy get the loisa say, what's going on? So, l'cheira, from the lashon of the Sifri, it's from the double lashon. V'shomus mirashay zolamoid ainli alabasei loisaminayin tamalom ushmaltim. You can't learn out that ushmaltim is a loisa say by itself. It's only because it's capable. Okay, but the boy we had many cases that is kafel and asay and another asay. And that doesn't make it into a lav. And the Ram learns that is kafel lechizuk. That's the whole Shirish Chi is talking about that. The Rambam here now, let me explain to you the following. There is, let's go like this. In Minyan HaMitzvos HaKotzer, the Ram says explicitly that only the Lashon Hishomer is allowed. And therefore he counts, because of Hishomer, he counts a lav, loisa se peites, loisa se reish chavtes, loisa se reish lamed aleph, and loisa shinches. And in reish lamed aleph is like this: shelo yimna milahalvois looni mipnei hashmota shenemo hishomer locho pen yeh dovo blial. Ze klal ho mokin shenemo hishomer vayfen o al eno elo loisas. But the lashon shmira is only if it's a construct of hishomer is allowed. Otherwise, it's a mitzvah say. For example, you have an asay by hafloas piv, by korban, or by tzedakah. That is an asay. It's an asay. Listen to Minyan HaMitzvos HaKotzer Tzadi Daled. לקיים אדם כל שהוציא סבוסו בסבוסו, מקורבן או צדוקה, וכיוצא בהן, שנאמר, מוציא סבוסך תשמו, ועשיסה. So tishmo is a mitzvah say. So you would the mechilta, the kavona is because of the kefal loshen, but we don't understand that either. Kefal loshen shows chi doesn't mean anything. It's forget a reason that it's chizuk. And the Mishnah Torah says that the tam of the lav is from shomois mishmeres, because it's loshen shmira, even though it's not in the construct of Ishomer. It's still not so. The Ram Beis Bechira, Perches Halacha Gimel, in Bitlu Shmiras, Shmira Ovu B'Loi Saseh, Shenema V'Shomu Es Mishmeres HaKodesh. So it could be the Ram is not interested in explaining in Minyan HaMitzvos and just telling you the address of the lav and not why it's a lav. But he continues, V'Loshen Shmira as Horehi. You can't say that. B'Loshen Shmira as Horehi. Lomarto sheshmira soy mitzvahs asay. Holomarto in bitlu shmira so of Muloisase. Shem v'shomu es mishmalto. B'Loshen Shmira as Horehi. Holomarto sheshmira soy mitzvahs asay. Ubitul shmira soy mitzvahs loisase. So I don't understand. I'm just maybe just listing the things, because if shmira itself is allowed, it can't be mitzvah shmira samikdash because that itself allowed. So the chinuch explains this. The chinuch in mitzvah shin tzadi aleph, v'ulai dorshu asay. I'm quoting, really a quote. V'lav kishiyimsu shnei hamikrois moirim al dover echod. The two psukim talking about the same thing. Umeoisei shebo derech tzivui lenoichach lomdu alav. If you have a tzivui in the loshen noichach kolui, it's a regular verb, ushmaltem, but tzivui hanisto shehi hu kal mimenu dorshu be'aseh. Ushmaltem, let's do it again. V'shomu es mishmeris oil moyed. That's what he learns. This needs a clear explanation. But the Ram is not clear also about this whole business that Shmira there's a lav, because the Ram in Hilchos Tefillin and Perek Dalet Alochir Aleph, B'chol Hamaniach Tefillin L'chatchila Acher Shetishka Chamo Oiva B'lav Shenemo Ushmaltes Achuk Azois Yom Mimim. Oh, so the Ram says that it's a lav, but the Ram doesn't count such a lav in Minyan HaMitzvos. And in Minyan HaMitzvos Kuf Nun Gimel, this lav V'shamates Achuk Azois, he counts as an asay for Kiddush HaChodesh and Iba Hashanim. In Minyan HaMitzvos Kuf Nun Gimel, mitzvah asay, v'nei boru mozim b'kosuv yoru al shloshei hamlocha, sheyislu b'chem b'yediyas Rosh Chodosh Iba Hashanim, mizeh omu v'shomarta es hachuk hazois lemoado miyom yomimo. See the Book of Yosef in Or Chaim Siman Lamed Sivkot. So that's what we have. We don't understand. Look at the chinuch, try to make it out. How you get a lav and naseh over here. But that's what the Ram does. The interesting thing is that the Sifri, there's no kefil here at all. And the asay is something else b'chlal. It's not kefil, but it's an asay, and it's an asay for different Indian. It's not about shmira, but that's something else. Not shmiras hamikdash. Sheyesh mitzvahs asay. There's a mitzvah asay on Bezdin Shel Yisrael lishma kohanim. Shakohanim oisim avoidosam ketiknom. The Sifri in Pashas Koyach Shmaltim es mishmeres hakodesh, ves mishmeres mizbeach, harizu azor lebezdin shel Yisrael. Lahaze es hakohanim shetehei hu avoida naasis kitikno. Kishe avoidas naase kitikno heim kolin. No, excuse me. Naasis kitikno. Lahaza Akwam Shitei Avoid Nas Kitikno. Shias Kishavod Nas Kitikuno Haim Kolix Haim Kolnas Aplonius Milovo. So that's this Azhora Ushmaltim es Mishmeres HaKodesh. It's nothing to do with Shmiras HaMikdash. It's watching that the Kohanim do the Avodah Kitikno. That's a Sifri. And Teretmima there in Bamibid Yudches Oishei says the koi dosh the koi al bezdin mishum de lekohanim atzmum nemo aschorazu biyichud b'samar posik zayin v'atu b'necho itcho tishmo eskunaschem. You should do and watch Yavon and do the way you do it. V'gam medayik mishum de parshazu nemro b'loshen yochid. And here it says b'loshen rabim, and it means it refers to bezdin. That's the ushma and the Sushmalt and Mishmeres HaKodesh is referring to Bezdin Shel Yisrael watching the Kohanim do it. And the Malbim also there learns like similar to this. The Malbim Bamir Yud Ches Posik Egg. And the Smag quotes this posik as another makor, Ushmaltim as Mishmeres HaKodesh, as a second asay Mishmeres HaMikdash. But it's not allowed, so it shouldn't be allowed. The whole thing is Mamash Apella. Okay. Now, let's start it for a few minutes, and I guess we'll pick it up next time. More barichus. Mitzvah. This is a very rough mitzvah because you don't really understand, unless you understand the chinuch, how this word shmira, which is not in the construct of hishomer, actually becomes a lav. You don't understand where the lav comes from. A mitzvah ashmona v'shishim. He, she, his here, they are klihin godol mikonis lemikdash b'chol eis. So the word kohen gadol is labadafka because he'll say later it applies to kohen and hadid also, and the word mikdash is also labadafka because it applies to only certain places of the mikdash. It applies only to kodesh and kodesh kadoshim. So I assume what's going on. He continues with an A. Covered HaMikdash u'gdulosai v'yira ufachad min hashchina. Covered HaMikdash u'gdulosai v'yira ufachad min hashchina. So we have to understand. We have to know where this is coming from. But whatever it is, and since it's covered Gdula Mikdash, it means it also, he said, coming into the Mikdash, even though it's lav dafka to the Mikdash as a whole, but the Mechayiv is the cover of Gdula Mikdash, that certain places that the Kohanim are very careful that they come into, on the Kohen Gadol, Kohen Hedyot, and the Yom Pachad min hashchina, which needs an explanation. The Rambam has a similar lashon in the Vuchim in Chelek Gimel Perek Mem Hey. Va'afilu HaKohanim gam kein haksherim ha'imdim b'mikdosh musharim me'sheves boy u'mihikones el ha'hecho v'choles u'mihikones l'kodshei hakadoshim klal el ha'kohen gadol b'yom ha'kippurim dal pamim v'lo yosef kol zeh lahagdil hamikdosh. So I just want to tell you something, maybe I'm off, but just a thought, I was always trying to explain away all the time mitzvahs and Sefer mitzvahs, and basically the time mitzvahs from the Buchim, but maybe it's Adarabah. The Rambam was using Sefer mitzvahs not only to count mitzvahs, but as a pilot to explain in a low profile time mitzvahs. Whether that's correct or not, I can't say anything. We'll see. So what I want to, sure if I can really explain it this time. What I want to explain next is how the Rambam got, and we'll see, I'll just say shortly, so we have to know, this is just short, we'll talk about this, is the Anan HaKaperes, or is the Anan is the Shechina itself? And if the Anan is the Shechina itself, then this Pshat is in the Pasuk. So since the Rebbeinu Shalom, the Shechina is there, they have to be careful when you come in and when you don't come in. And we'll pick this up next time in Mitzvah Shem in 2 weeks.